I'd like your help. Because last night I'm a gentleman minding my own business. Minding my own business.
I mean, is that really true?
Going about my life. My 9-year-old son looks up at the television screen, which is on the worldwide leader in sports, and says, "Oh, Dad, Michigan football's on." Look up, and I see the 1994 ESPN showing of what was on ABC on that day of Michigan hosting Colorado. And I say to my son, who's just dying for anything to watch sports, live TV, any game, I say to him, "Yeah, we're not watching this." "Why not, Dad? It's Michigan football." Doesn't end well, Coop. Does not end well. Then I look down on my phone, and I see Mr. Pete's golf shirt over there texting an entire text chain of the entire Rich Eisen Show staff saying, "Don't turn on ESPN, Rich, no matter what you do." And then has the audacity to say, "We're 90 minutes from the good part." The good part. The good part.
I want the greatest place of all
Let
time.
me repeat this. The good part.
You know, I texted you. It was like early third quarter. ESPN allowed a 4-hour window to reshow this game. You know, it was like 7:15. I figured 90 minutes from the good stuff.
So I tweet out, "I'd like to be on the record that I wholeheartedly object to ESPN's choice of classic programming right now." And I got a whole bunch of great tweets in response. I screen grabbed one, which I asked my executive producer, Don Bowie, to put up here. Because, you know, a lot of people like having fun at my expense. And so, you know, I reach out to Chris Fowler, as a matter of fact, who was hosting this. And I text him, "Michigan currently has a 12-point lead on Colorado with 5 minutes left and the ball."
Yikes.
Forgot that was on, even though he interviewed Tyrone Wheatley and Cordell Stewart separately on Zoom for it. "The lead seems safe. I wouldn't worry about it. What are the chances?"
Oh,
and Fowler.
You know what? Oh, Fowler.
I thought about this.
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
"Chris, you're at my wedding." You know what school he went to?
Colorado. What a response by Fowler.
Forgot it was on. He Zoomed with Tyrone Wheatley and Cordell.
Had a great game, Ty Wheatley.
So did Ty Law, by the way. You're looking at it, some people, Rashaan Salam won the Heisman Trophy later that year. Seeing Rick Neuheisel look like he was 12, the offensive coordinator for Colorado. And I forgot, Cordell Stewart fumbled the ball going into the end zone, down 12 with 5 minutes to go. And Michigan got the ball back. That was when they placed the ball on the 35-yard line when you fumbled into the end zone. The 35 with 5 minutes to go. That's when I turned it off. Couldn't watch it. Wouldn't watch it. Can't watch it. Won't watch it, to use the Mike Singletary phrase of the day. And here's, you know, where were you on that day? Where were you on that day? Do you remember where you were that day? Here's where I was on that day. In 1994, a young guy fresh out of the Medill School of Journalism at Northwestern University, hoping to get a job in sportscasting. I was driving around upstate New York looking for jobs I'd already applied for, walking into newsrooms, just knocking on the door to say, "Hey, I sent my resume to you, news director A, B, C in Utica, New York."
Utica?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Utica, New York. Oneonta. I mean, I went upstate New York just knocking on doors saying, I would just show up in my suit and tie, walking around. And I also, because I had met an agent through being in Redding, California, where I was hoping to be eventually, and I had just finished up my internship at the CBS Evening News in New York City. The CBS Evening News with Dan and Connie, Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the reason why I bring that up is the executive producer, a gentleman named Eric Sorensen, was best friends with Keith Olbermann and said, "Hey, I've got a young intern here who would like to meet you. He wants to do sportscasting, would love to wind up on SportsCenter one day. Will you see him?" And the answer was yes. Here I was in 1994, had a chance to go to ESPN. First day I ever set foot on the campus of ESPN was on this day. I met with Keith Olbermann, met with him, and then a fraternity brother of mine who had already gotten a job at ESPN as a producer named Phil Green says, stick around, Rich. Stick around because Michigan's playing Colorado today. Let's watch it. And I watched it on the campus of ESPN, and in that very moment where I was so thrilled that my future could actually be happening, I just met with Keith Olbermann. I have an in here. I can use this potentially as a leg up one day, not knowing I actually was going to be hosting SportsCenter with Keith about a year and a half later after a stint in Redding, California. There I was at ESPN, loving life, until Cordell Stewart threw it 90 million miles in the air to Michael Westbrook, and somebody doesn't knock it down. And all stop
Stewart
it.
with time.
No.
Lets it go. He's got three people down there. The ball's up in the air. Caught. Touchdown. Caught by Westbrook for a touchdown. Incredible.
Yes, Keith Jackson, incredible. And guess what I wanted to do on that spot? What every single human being who's gutted by their favorite team losing a big game like that in a manner that is so beyond the pale impossible. I wanted to turn television sets off. Unfortunately, I was in my dream spot of ESPN, and there were 90 million television sets, and I didn't have a single remote control on.
What did you do immediately after?
I don't recall because I probably blacked out. I just remember saying, here I am at ESPN. This is amazing. Oh, my God. Look at this place. I've been dreaming of coming here.
So
I just had an informational meeting with Keith Olbermann. And here I want to turn every television set off. I want to go home and I want to roll up in a fetal position and cry. Chris Fowler, what are the chances? Thanks, Chris.
That's fantastic.
What are the chances? Three
Forgot it was
question
on.
marks.
Forgot it
Forgot it was on. The lead seems safe. I wouldn't worry about it. What are the chances? Fowler.
Amazing.
Voice of college football. Chris Fowler. Man, oh, man. Go ahead, Chris. I know you want to ask it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Bring it up. Go ahead. Bring it up. Our start bench
Start bench cut. Hit it, Mike.
Go for it. I know you want to do it. You did it before.
Start now. Bench.
Just sit down and be quiet.
Or cut.
Okay, very good.
Okay, start bench cut. Rich, worst Michigan loss, the Cordell Stewart Hail Mary play. How about September 1st, 2007 against 1AA App State, a 24-yard field goal scores the upset for Appalachian State 34-32, or October 17th, 2015, not that long ago. Michigan lines up for a punt, seemingly to end the game. Oh, no! Fumbled snap.
Oh, stop.
Recovered by the Spartans, rumbling, stumbling into the end zone, 27-23, walk-off.
I wish I could curse so badly right now. My inner monologue right now is so working blue right now. How about none of them?
Start bench, play the game.
How about
Come
none
on.
of them? None
Respect
of them.
the process.
The worst.
Respect the process.
The worst is Chris Webber's timeout.
Not an option. Talking
Chris
football
Webber's
here.
timeout is the
Football here, Rich. Football. Start bench cut.
What's the construct here? What hurts the most?
Yeah,
What hurts
the worst
the most?
Michigan loss.
The worst one.
Worst loss. Start bench cut.
Worst Michigan loss was Appalachian State because it caused
Delegitimizes your program.
Lloyd Carr. That was the end of Lloyd Carr. Even though he leaves in his last game with Rich Rod standing there going 5 wide on Urban Meyer to beat Tim Tebow in his final bowl game.
That's true.
Okay.
That happened.
Pointing out, hey, I could go, like, Lloyd, where was the 5 wide before that day? So Appalachian State, we're still trying to recover from it.
Okay.
And then second was Harbaugh was getting set to put us in the top 10 and beat Michigan State. And that happened. And I got to hear Sean McDonough's voice crack. So I'll bench that, and I will definitely cut 1994. See ya. Goodbye. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.